Okay, so Ariana, I actually have your project set up next to this so that we can do both. You're also, see you already unmuted yourself, which is great. Um, do you have any comments before I get started?
Nope, looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. So if you have questions as I go along, please just go ahead and ask them. I'm going to work off of the uh, demo project, but I will probably go back over to yours and make sure that you understand where you want to set these things up. So
Okay.
here's my little demo project. It has two forms, an email form, which is going to be able to capture the email address, which we're going to need because we want to send out uh, automated invitations, and a daily seizure diary to give someone the chance to indicate. It's very simple. If we look at it, there's just a couple questions that are primary. We'll see how it looks when I actually do one of these. But all of this is branching logic, and so these questions don't show up unless somebody actually has a seizure. So let's go back here and let's take a look here at automated survey invitations. So I am in here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And if anyone has any trouble seeing this, just yell out. I can increase the font size. Maybe I'll do that anyway. See if that's a little bit better. Okay, thanks, Vern. Okay, so if we look at this, the goal of an automatic survey invitation is to send something out um, automatically when some event occurs of some kind. And you can use custom logic to determine what drives whether this survey goes out. And there are certain conditions you can look at. But if you look at this, basically this happens after a certain event, and then it happens once. So if you want to send out something daily, you can't use automated invitations. So there's also the survey queue, which we don't ever talk about too much, but a lot of people use. And we're going to add our survey to the survey queue. And we're just going to say that the survey queue is activated when the email field has some kind of value in it. So let's take a look at that here on the email form. This is very basic. It only has these few fields. There's your contact email, which is the email, and a creation time for date and time of data entry. So when somebody fills this out, the survey queue is triggered, meaning some event is going to happen. Now we're going to tie that in to the alerts and notifications. So if I open up my alerts and notifications, I've already created an alert, and let's take a look at it. So we're going to use the same conditional logic as what is being driven by the survey queue, and that is the email is no longer blank. And then we're going to start sending it out the next day at 7 a.m. Now, Ariana, I have no idea what your criteria is for when you set this up, but the XML project that I uploaded used 7 a.m. to start with. And I changed this for testing, and I'll show you what I did. We'll look at your project in a second.
Okay.
And then we want to send this out multiple times on a recurring basis, and we're going to send it every day after it's initially sent out. Then we're going to craft our email. Says it's going to come from, in the case of a project, remember that these email address options are based on the users in your project who are associated to your project. Any of their email addresses will show up that have been associated to your account. And just to show that one more time, if you're in the home page or my projects or whatever, up at the top, there is a my profile option. And in my profile, there is an opportunity for you to add a secondary email or a tertiary email. So I recommend that if you have some kind of departmental or generic email address that's associated to your project, that you associate yourself to that. This doesn't have to stay here forever just because you put it in once. Obviously, there's a remove option, but for the life of your project, you may want to use that email address as a from. So that's what I've done here. I've said from REDCap, and then we're emailing it out to the survey participant, and that's found down here below, email field variables. And I'll make sure that you understand that. Here is the email that the recipient will receive. And again, that will occur initially at 7 a.m. after they have entered that. Okay, a couple other things here. Number one, I'm going to go back to my designer, and I want you to see in the survey settings, there is, this is set up no differently than any other survey. There's nothing that is unique about this. And in this daily seizure diary, there is a descriptive text field here that has some information. Okay, so this is going to show up every time the person opens up the recurring instrument. They will read this, so it gives them some instruction about what to do. I think that's all I want you to see at the moment. So let me go over to the actual project. So what we have here is a desire to send out, and Ariana, you correct me at any point if I'm incorrect, but you want to send a meal times survey out each day.
Correct.
So you would start by activating the survey queue, find your meal times, click on activate, and you'd use just the following logic. You'd put the email field in square brackets, and you would say not equal to blank. Okay, that's how that starts out, and we can look back over here and go to the designer and look at the survey queue here and see, that's exactly the way this is set up. Okay. So that's all we needed to do so far. Next, we want to, you've already enabled in the project setup, You've set up your repeatable instrument. So we'll just take a look at this. Meal times have been selected. And to help you out with that, I would suggest that let's take a look at meal times for those of you who have not done this before. There is a first meal time field that holds a date and time. I'm going to grab this variable right here. And in my repeatable instrument custom label, I'm going to plug in that variable so that it helps me visually identify, when these meal times are. So if I needed to select one in particular, I could do that. One thing that I might point out, well, I'll get to that in a second. All right, so the repeatable instruments is set up. The other thing that you need to do is enable an email field for sending survey invitations, which she has already done. And to ensure that that happens, you have to make sure that you have identified on the form that you're pulling that email address from. You need to have validated it as an email field, or REDCap won't be able to use it to automatically send out emails. So she's already done that, which is great. So now we want to look at the alerts and notifications. So we're going to add a new alert here, and we'll just call this meal time alert. Now this is something that the recipient's not going to see, but you want to know what this alert references. So we're going to use the conditional logic here, and we're going to do the same thing that we had done in the survey queue, just putting email, which is the variable name. And you can see that here REDCap has added this feature. It used to be, it's been here for a while, but they've expanded on this a little bit. And so it isn't just when you start, you could actually pull in or identify a variable as you start to type it anywhere in the equation process. But in this case, we're simply going to say email equals nothing. Now you do want to make sure that you see the valid for the checkbox to make sure that this formula will run. And that's all this tells you. It doesn't tell you if it's exactly what you want, but it will tell you that it will run. Now, we do want to change this. And for this, we're going to say send immediately, just so you can see this work and how it's going to look. And then we're going to send multiple times on a recurring basis. And we're going to send this again, just so you can see. We'll send this every minute, and then I'll close it out. And then you can also, all right, you mentioned that you wanted to collect 14 days. You could put in 14 days for this, and I think that's what you'll want to do. Okay. So then our email from, in this case, I'm just going to put in this is you, Ariana, right?
Right.
And the email we'll pull down here, and we'll say we're going to send it to the participant's email address. And this is mealtime. And if we look over here in what we have for the alert, there is a link here. Okay, and this is a standard format for a link for a participant. So this is on a participant's record. So this is directly for a single participant. I'm going to copy this a minute just so that I don't have any errors in this, but you're going to substitute what comes after the survey queue link. You're going to put in the name of the instrument, and that was meal
times.
Meal time. It's 2 words, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to just say obviously you would want to change the verbiage, but this will get the point across. All right. So, in theories, this should work. We've got the alert set up. It knows the email address. And now I'm going to go to the survey distribution tools and open the public survey. Now, I'll just fill in a couple fields here. Key. I better say yes to all these just so I get in the study. I'm not sure what the okay. So this gives you an idea of what this is going to look like. I'm going to close the survey. And Ariana, am I going to be eligible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So I'm going to watch for an email. Oh, I've already got it. So this is what I got. Here's the link. I'll open up the mealtime, and this says begin the survey, mealtime 1. And here is some text that can be changed to be more descriptive if you want.
Okay.
So you begin the survey and put stuff in and submit. All right. So they needed to add their response, whatever. Now they're done. They close the survey. And hopefully I will get another email in within the next minute. And then I will show you what that looks like. But this is how you automate those invitations to go out periodically, like in this case, every day, and you can start at a certain day and time or whatever. If you want it to go out right away, you can do that, but however you want to do that.
Could we send 2 separate invitations, so one in the morning and one in the evening?
Certainly. So you would want to create a second alert. You just add a new alert, and just for this, we'll say mealtime 2. And I just got my next link request email. Okay, this just came in. I open this up. And here we are. And oh, no. That's not what I want. Oh. Let me just check this again. Yeah, here's the link. Unless I opened the wrong one, which I might have done. There's another one. Let me open that. Well, this is not what I want. So this is the way it should work. Um, I'm going to just compare these two. Let's just change this real quick and send this every minute. And for the moment, I'm going to deactivate this so it doesn't keep sending me alerts, and then I'll reactivate it again in a minute. But this will send immediately, and everything here should be good. Send every minute, send immediately. Okay, let's try this one. So I've got some records in here. No, good. Okay. All right. Now, on my alerts and notifications, I can immediately check to see that there's been some activity here. So it tells me that an alert's been scheduled. And if I look at my, if I view the list, I can look at my notification log here, and I can see that an alert just went out. And here is the email that I got. I'll begin the survey today. I'm going to say no for now. Close the survey. And let's just see what happens now. There should be an opportunity to add a new one. I'm going to look at the designer here real quick. All right, so here's my first email. My daily seizure diary. And this is what I'm expecting to report another seizure. So you're adding this, and then you're making it for tomorrow, because you would just say today or whatever. And you could even set this as to automatically populate with today's date, and then change they could always change the date and see. Then if they said yes, there's all these options that they could fill out. And then once they submit it, you start seeing that you're building. So if they had more than one in a day, they could report, that. So that's what I'm expecting for yours. I need to play with yours for a couple minutes and make sure it works. But you can see that this is how you could get a repeatable instrument to be sent out automatically every day.